On February 6, 2014, a team of Finnish divers arrived in Norway to explore the Plura cave. It is a deceptively beautiful place, but beneath the ice lies a labyrinth of razor-sharp rock and freezing water that plunges 130 meters into the earth. Among them was Kai Kankinen, a man who had already lost a friend to the depths just 1 year prior. He knew the risks. He knew that the cave doesn't care if you are experienced. It doesn't care if you have a family waiting for you. They had a plan to enter one side and exit the other. But plans change when you are 400 feet down in the suffocating dark. The team split up. Patrick and Yuri H. went first, with the support team following 2 hours later. For the first 500 meters, everything was silent and peaceful. But the Plura cave lures you in with wide chambers before strangling you with narrow, claustrophobic tunnels. They reached a section known simply as the restriction, a bottleneck so tight that a fully geared diver has to twist their body just to squeeze through. Patrick made it through, but when he turned back to signal his friend, he saw the one thing no diver ever wants to see. Yuri H. was stuck. His equipment had snagged on the jagged rock. He couldn't move forward, and he couldn't move back. Then, the panic set in. At that depth, panic is a death sentence. You hyperventilate, consume your oxygen in minutes, and swallow water. Patrick watched helplessly as his friend began to thrash violently in the narrow tunnel, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness, waving frantically for help. Patrick tried to free him, tried to force the regulator back into Yuri's mouth, but it was too late. Yuri gasped, inhaled freezing water, and went silent. Now, Patrick was alone, floating in the pitch black, staring at the lifeless body of his friend. Patrick checked his dive computer. Because of the depth and the struggle, he couldn't just swim to the surface. The computer gave him a terrifying number: 400 minutes. He had to stay underwater for nearly 7 hours to avoid decompression sickness, floating next to his best friend's corpse. But the nightmare wasn't over. 2 hours later, the second team, Visa and Yuri Yu, arrived at the restriction. They didn't know about the accident. They were swimming straight into a trap. Visa, the lead diver of the second group, saw a light ahead. He swam towards it, expecting a signal. Instead, he saw Yuri H's body blocking the only way forward. The tunnel was plugged. Behind Visa was Yuri Yu. When he realized they were trapped behind a corpse, his mind broke. The psychological weight of seeing death right in front of your face, 130 meters underground, was too much. Yuri Yu began to scream into his regulator. He panicked, he kicked, and in the tight confines of the cave, he rolled over. Within minutes, the Plura cave claimed its second victim. Now, there were 2 bodies. The surviving divers were trapped between the rock and the dead. Visa was staring at 2 dead friends and had an impossible choice: stay there and die with them, or do the unthinkable. To survive, Visa had to physically push past the bodies. He had to squeeze his way over the lifeless legs and tanks of his friends, scraping against the ceiling of the cave, inches away from their faces. He forced his way through. Kai, the last diver, decided he couldn't do it. He turned around, alone, to swim the long, terrifying journey back to the start. Hours later, the survivors emerged from the icy water. They were alive, but they were broken. They had spent hours in the crushing dark, waiting for their decompression, haunted by the images of what they left behind. It took weeks for a professional recovery team to retrieve the bodies. The Plura cave is quiet now, and the water is still. But for the survivors, the cave never really let them go. When they close their eyes at night, they are back in the cold, back in the dark, waiting for the light that went out. This is a chilling reminder that nature is not your friend, and some places on this earth are better left untouched.